I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Pins on the jacket, the man's abundant. The point of the road was banned and rugged. Hushing, I'm planning on pants in London. The products are not being scared of some judgment. Gotta stay in the cut you off if you ain't making the cut. Couldn't tell you who the hell is behind us. You start to forget when you stay in the front of it's up. And it's up for grabs, no remorse of who I'm taking it from. Numbers I give on my scoreboard is the only form of us staying in touch, that's saying enough. It's time to receive all of the favors I've done. Too late for y'all to switch teams, everybody getting big leagues. Product flying out the shelf, what's in store for us? Known to hit a hole in one, look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whatever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Shout out to Steve. The boy getting love from the harsh critics. Strauss hit me bi-weekly, the time he keep taking it further. You aren't finished and I gotta listen. Ain't he son to believing and see that I'm actually breathing and doing it real time. Love to pull an idea out thin air, act on it and profit in real life. If we not aligned, don't present me a dotted line. Yeah, I'm a QB, but I ain't handing out nothing for someone to monetize. And it goes to the birds too, can't give it a time of $1, so cut her eyes. They get X'd out, for they had the potential to be my ex. I know all the plays, I'm a seasoned vet. Yeah. Always showing up, known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whoever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang all out, Iwo Jima got one flag. Yeah.
Hello again, everyone out there in internet land around the world, and welcome to another edition of the Roundup with me, Big League. It is full-on tournament time in the state of Ohio for softball and for baseball this week, so we have a ton of action coming your way from our highlights and our live streams from the past week. Brian Skowronski, as always, the boss man, with his top 8 diamond cuts. I'm back with our chart topper from last week's 5 nominees on the greatest hits and another 5 nominees this week. We have all of the shout-outs from our MVP interviews and Talk of the Town. But first, as always, we will have our highlighted conference for this week. We'll have our highlighted conference standings, but we also mix in some scores from tournament action this week as well. And that conference is the MOAC. So let's pull up, ladies first, the softball scoreboard. Clear Fork, last night in a game you saw live and free on the OH Report. 2-1 victors over Norwalk in the Willard District semifinal. Ontario in the first semifinal, falling 7-1 in the backyard rivalry to Lexington. Some more tournament scores from yesterday. Hillsdale holding off Keystone 6-5 in the D3 Wellington District semis. And just a little bit of a hint, you might see one of those plays in the Diamond Cut. You might see a hit from that game in Greatest Hits. We'll find out. Madison, the Lady Rams, up in Division I in the Bowling Green District, knock off Findlay 7-2. They get a date with nationally ranked Anthony Wayne on Friday for a district championship. Coach Nicewander and the girls heck of a season. They're still playing for a conference championship on Monday against Lexington as well, but Nice Wanderers squad firing on all cylinders right now, and we wish them the best on Friday. Danville, in a game you saw last night, knocking off Ridgedale 12-2. They're playing for a district championship on Saturday morning. Monroeville in the D4 Galleon District knocking off Lucas 15-3. Cary, baby, in a game that I called 2 nights ago, knocking off number 2 Hopewell Loudon 8-5. They'll play tomorrow in a district championship game, in a game you can see live and free against New Regal, who held off Mohawk 3-1. The Lady Knights of Northmore in the Division III Central District fell to 10th seeded West Jefferson 8-6, and on the top half of that bracket, 11th seeded Utica knocked off Cardington 10-1. So 2 double-digit seeds will play for a district championship on Saturday. Now, taking a look at the conference standings in the MOAC on the softball side, the Lady Colts of Clear Fork, they have clinched at least a share of the conference championship. Shelby, I believe, still plays Pleasant one more time. If Shelby wins that, they will get a share as well. If they lose it, Clear Fork gets the championship outright. River Valley finishes 4 games behind at 9-5. Ontario at 6-8, 7 games back. Pleasant can tie Ontario with a win. If not, they will finish a game behind the Lady Warriors in 5th. Galleon still has to play as well. They got 1 game left against Harding. They're 8.5 back. Highland finishes 10 games back, and Marion Harding might be 10 games back or 11, depending on how they do against Galleon. Now let's head over to the baseball side, where we also had sectional play on our scoreboard. First, Highland clinching the outright MOAC with a 1-0 victory over Marion Harding. Clear Fork in non-conference action last night, knocking off Willard 10-0. And then tournament play, a D1 sectional semi Central Crossing defeating Harding 3-1. Pleasant in a semifinal in D3 defeating Mount Gilead 3-0. Johnstown in a D2 quarterfinal in the sectional, holding off River Valley 5-4. In other sectional play, the East Knox Bulldogs, they won their sectional semi 19-1 over Columbus International, setting up tonight's game that you just saw live and free on the OH Report against Grandview Heights. Cardington knocking off Fredericktown in a sectional semi 16-1. And then over the weekend, well, actually last night first, on Monday, Bellevue beating Galleon 4-3. Ontario, 10-run ruling Colonel Crawford 10-0. And then over the weekend, it was Clear Fork over Crestview 15-9. Now let's take a look at the standings on the baseball side, and the Fighting Scots have clinched the outright MOAC championship 11-3. Clear Fork, 1.5 games back, the same as Shelby, both of them 1.5 back. Ontario finishes 2 back. They could either be tied for 3rd or finish in 4th. Galleon also has to finish their game with Shelby. Currently, Galleon trailing Shelby unless they restart the whole thing. So it's looking like it could be a Highland Clear Fork Shelby for 1 and 2. And then Ontario finishing 3, Galleon at 4, 3 games back. Harding finishes 6 games back at 5-9. Pleasant 9 games back at 2-12, and River Valley still having to finish their game with Clear Fork, who actually they played today. So we'll see if they finish out 9 games back or 10 games back. So there you have it, the MOAC standings on the baseball side. Congratulations to the Clear Fork Lady Colts. Congratulations to the Highland Fighting Scots, the softball and baseball champs, and maybe Shelby as well if they can get that win. All right, there it is for our highlighted conference for this week. We still have the WCAL left. For our next episode, we'll highlight the champions there. And then in our final episode, we will show you the final standings from the top 5 of all of our highlighted conferences. Now let's throw it over to the wonderful man, the man that the reason I have a job, Brian Skowronski, the big man, the boss man, with your Diamond Cuts. Take it away, Ski.
All right, thank you, Big League, for the introduction, and a lot of these players really need no introduction here on the Diamond Cuts, the best defensive plays of the week. A lot of studs here on the countdown, and these games getting bigger and bigger with each passing game. Of course, the ladies are at districts now, the gentlemen into sectional, so we've got some tournament action, a lot of it coming up right now. I've got an 8-pack of diamond cuts on the way, all thanks to the folks at Plymale Insurance Group. Sectional championship on the line in the Valley, where freshman outfielder Jada Brokaw covering a lot of greenery to secure the lunging grab here in shallow right. Brokaw staying true to the mascot representing on her chest as she gallops in like a colt to make the impressive snag. To Hillsdale now for the only baseball we covered last week, but check out the liftoff by Falcons pitcher Gavin Kasdorf, bouncing off the bump like a jackrabbit on a pogo stick to high point the rock from the second story. Bonus action at number 6 because Danville's Addie Bocock was dealing from the circle like a bonus round in a video game, fanning 14 batters on her way to a complete game shutout of number 2 Newark Catholic, advancing to the next level as sectional champions for the 12th straight season as they crash down some sweet revenge all over the Green Wave. And speaking of bonus action, how about 2 outs from the same play? Because Clear Fork's Mel Bluebaugh handles the rifle shot and drills a strike of her own over to first to end the inning in a Bellevue scoring threat. Peep it again and don't blink either, because Mel sauces the DP hotter than a ghost pepper for a Spice Girl to help clinch the Colts a sectional crown. Let's keep it down the third base line, but cue up the drowning pool and let the bodies hit the floor. Gallion's Caitlin McGee stretches out like a Chase Lounge to nab the sharp hit ball in an upset win over Crestview, punching the Tigers' ticket into the districts. Keep that mixtape banging now as we crack the top 3 and cue up some Kool in the Gang. And let's celebrate good times, come on! With Clear Fork starting pitcher / birthday girl Miley Schaefer, who struck out 8 and allowed just 3 Norwalk hits on her 15th birthday to earn a district title shot. High tension moment coming up at number 2, top 6. It's a 1-run game at Wellington where a diving Allie Morgan saves the day for Hillsdale like Superwoman in a pair of cleats. Keystone had all the momentum with 3 runs in the frame before this heroic grab ended the threat for a Lady Falcons victory. One more look. Boom. And now listen closely to my top diamond cut of the week, and you'll probably hear Ashlyn Bouillon call game, baby, as she goes splashing into the dirt to secure a new Regal victory. Unbelievable reaction time here from her second base spot, diving into the circle like it's the deep end at a pool party to knock off perennial power Mohawk in the district semifinals, and she's celebrating like she's at a party. Boom, with the win. Pretty awesome countdown, I gotta say, this week, and obviously it's very softball heavy because when the tournament comes around, you gotta get out to these games, win or go home, and a lot of these big time defensive efforts led to victories for their teams, and I think I just love Travis's the big league's greatest hits so much that I had to get in a little bit of singing of my own. That's going to be coming up here in just a little bit, but after a commercial timeout, we are going to hear from the athletes themselves. They're on the way in this week's Talk of the Town.
Welcome back to the Roundup with me, Big League Berardi. It is that time that you have all been waiting for, the shout-outs from our MVP interviews over the past week. And as tournament time goes on, these shout-outs get better. Even there's people that start dancing in our interviews, and we have all of that coming your way right now in Talk of the Town.
Shout out to my whole team. Shout out to Reagan and Maddie.
All right, I want to shout out my parents for always putting in all the work and effort with me and stuff and never giving up on me. And then obviously my head coach down there, he's been with me since 10U, so that's it.
I want to shout out my mom and my grandma and all my family members that came and watched me, my team for being my biggest supporters, and also my coaches.
I'm going to shout out our pitchers for doing a great job and our defense because they are great. And I'm going to shout out my sister and her friend for coming.
My dad. I want to shout out my dad because he's there for me always, and he's just my #1 supporter. Even before the first game, we went out and we hit for like 4 buckets, and I couldn't do it without him.
Shout out to my whole team. I mean, I love them so much. They all like give me confidence, and they're all just in the game. Great team overall. Shout out to my mom too.
I want to shout out my coaches, Gillig, Dan, Kenzie, Rao, and Bree and Tio, my family, my dad, my mom, definitely my teammates for being behind my back when I'm on the mound. And that's about it.
Obviously Anderson on the mound, he does a great job. I mean, he lets up 1 run and we just have to hit. Corbin and all our infield, they do an amazing job, you know. They throw the ball, you know, I just have to catch it. And then obviously our outfielders, they track really well. They're no fly zone, don't let anything up.
Shout out to my coaches for always pushing me. Shout out to my dad for always pushing me to be the best person I am today. And shout out to my mom. And shout out to these girls back here too. For real. For real.
And how about that, the instant replay on the Rich Flex right here on the Generate MVP. So before we close it out and we head back to another commercial break, you guys got any like big dance moves that you want to hit? Anything cool? There you go.
Here we are once again with another edition of Big League's Weekly Top 40 minus 35. You know the deal. And you know what? Before I came on here to record this, myself and Brian Skowronski were having a conversation. You know what? We had it great back in the late 90s, early 2000s. You had Rick D's Weekly Top 40 on Saturdays, and then Casey Kasem in the American Top 40 on Sundays. It was great radio listening back then. But now we have satellite, and you can listen to anything you want. You know, Ryan Seacrest, he does a good job. Anyway, let's get back to my greatest hits. Before we unveil our top 5 for this week, let us view the chart topper from last week here on the greatest hits. And the winner is Norwayne's Logan Ditchler. This home run helped propel the Bobcats to a victory over Waynedale, helping them win an outright WCAL title. Congratulations to you, Logan Ditchler. And now, it is time to unveil our top 5 nominees for Big League's greatest hits. Hit me with the horn, Tony. We start in New Regal, where Carey's Kenzie Simons not only kept the Lady Devils in the game in the circle, but tied the district semi with number 2 Hopewell Loudon singing "Lean on Me." With this RBI double to deep center, they would go on to win 8-5, locking up a spot in the district championship game. Nominee number 2 is straight out of a Drake album. CeCe hits a homer, rounds the bases, Tigers riding in the districts. CeCe Campbell's 2-run shot puts a ribbon on Gallion's upset of Crestview, sending them to the district semis. Our third nominee had Keystone here in AC/DC's Hells Bells right off the bat, because Hillsdale's own Belle Dalton gave the Lady Falcons an early 3-run lead with this shot to left to help them get back to the district championship game. You know how sometimes a song slaps so hard that you gotta hear it twice? Well, that's what Alicia Humphrey did in Danville, hitting not 1, but 2 home runs in their district semifinal victory over Ridgedale, as for the 12th consecutive year, Danville will play for a district championship. Our final nominee comes from the district semifinal version of the Backyard Rivalry. Lexington's Kaylee Eichhorn was singing "Yeek, yeek, whoop, whoop, I ain't playing around." This double off the fence helped pace number 1 Lady Lex to a district title appearance, knocking off rival Ontario. And there you have it, the top 5 nominees for the greatest hits chart topper. Operators are not standing by, but you can vote in the comments section below. That'll put a bow on another great episode of the Roundup with me, Big League Berardi. Programming note, next week we will not have a show. That is because it is regional semifinal Wednesday in softball. It is district semifinal Wednesday in baseball. So we are going to focus our efforts on getting great live streams and highlights for you from those games. But 2 weeks from now, we will be back to highlight the best tournaments softball and baseball has to offer over the last 2 weeks, with our greatest hits, our nominees, and our chart topper from this week, our Diamond Cuts with Brian Skowronski, the talk of the town, all of that great stuff coming your way 2 weeks from now, and we will also highlight the WCAL in their standings. But that will wrap things up for today. I want to thank the great folks at Plymale Insurance Group, as always, for allowing us to put this show on to highlight the best of baseball and softball in North Central Ohio. But I'm going to hit the diamond. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. I will be at Wellington as the Hillsdale Lady Falcons play for a district championship. So tune in about 4:50, 5 o'clock for that. And then we have action all the way up until next week and then the Wednesday after when we're back here. But for now, I'm Big League Berardi saying so long